Later, Woobin sat in his room, staring at his phone. He thought about calling Sonjin, but let his pride hold him back, especially after everything that had happened between them. Instead, he walked over to his dresser and picked up a small toy car, one that Sonjin had given him when they were kids. He smiled at the memory, took a picture of the toy, and sent it to Sonjin with a simple smiley face. He hoped Sonjin would understand that the message was his way of apologizing and showing that he still cared. At that moment, Sonjin was working out in his home gym, trying to clear his mind. But no matter how hard he tried, his thoughts kept drifting to Woobin. He knew he shouldn't be thinking about him, especially since Woobin had made it clear that their friendship no longer mattered to him. But the bond they had formed since childhood wasn't something he could easily forget. Losing his best friend hurt in ways he had never expected. After finishing his workout, he went to the living room and checked his phone. Seeing Woobin's message, he smiled. He couldn't believe Woobin still had the toy car he had given him as kids. Immediately, he responded with a picture of a park, the park where they used to play hide-and-seek when they were young. It was his way of saying they should meet there to talk. Minsu walked into the room and noticed Sonjin smiling at his phone. She asked who he was texting. Pulling her closer, he teased her about being jealous before reassuring her that it was just Woobin. Minsu, concerned, asked if everything was okay between them. Sonjin told her he hoped so. He explained that he was planning to meet Woobin in hopes of finally resolving their issues. Minsu, happy that they were making an effort to mend their friendship, encouraged him to go. Sonjin smiled at her and said he needed to shower first. Taking her hand, he playfully suggested she join him. He promised to be back early so they could spend time together. Holding her hand, he led her upstairs. Later that night, Sonjin arrived at the park carrying some beers. He spotted Woobin sitting on a bench and walked over to join him. Handing him a beer, Sonjin asked if he had been there long. Woobin nodded, saying he had come early to get some fresh air. Sonjin chuckled, reminiscing about how they used to sneak out every evening to come to the park. He recalled how, whenever their maids came looking for them, they would hide so they could spend more time together. Woobin laughed, remembering how Sonjin didn't like the food at his house, so he would always steal food and bring it to the park for him. They both smiled at the memories. Sonjin then turned serious, asking Woobin if he was okay. He admitted that he had been worried about him. He mentioned that he understood if Woobin had been heartbroken over Minsu, but clarified that he couldn't have given her up. He loved her too much. However, if Woobin wanted anything else, he would have gladly given it to him. Woobin shook his head, explaining that it was never about Minsu. He had long accepted that she wasn't his. What truly hurt him was feeling like their friendship had been one-sided. He reminded Sonjin of how they had both agreed to pursue art together, even buying an art studio. But then Sonjin had ghosted him and later announced that he had decided to become CEO of his family's company. To make matters worse, he never checked on Woobin or supported him. Even when Woobin traveled the world trying to escape reality, Sonjin had barely reached out. Sonjin listened, guilt washing over him. He admitted that his father had controlled his life back then, going as far as forbidding him from seeing Woobin. Every time he wanted to reach out, his father would blackmail him with guilt over his older brother's death. He insisted that he had always cared about Woobin, but had been too weak to stand up to his father. Woobin sighed, saying he understood now. He admitted that he had let his mother get into his head, which made him overthink everything. He apologized for being cold, and for the way he had treated Yuna. He assured Sonjin that nothing had happened between them. He had only pretended to be with Yuna to provoke him. Sonjin smiled, saying he had never doubted him. He expressed how relieved he was that they had finally talked things out. Woobin joked that if Sonjin loved him so much, he should marry him instead. Sonjin laughed, leaning his head on Woobin's shoulder. He said they were brothers for life. Only death could separate them. They would grow old together. Wu Bin smiled, happy to have his best friend back.